Hi, everyone. For Gen Xers, retirement is looming just around the corner. So I've got a list of the biggest mistakes that Gen Xers make when saving for retirement. Welcome to my channel, This Gen X Life, where I make videos that talk about optimizing our lives, our time, and our money. So if that interests you, I would love for you to subscribe. So on with the list. Now, these are the biggest mistakes Gen Xers make when saving for retirement. So, the first one on the list is not saving enough or not getting the full match from your employer's 401k. It's time, Gen Xers, to really get serious about saving for your retirement because it is getting closer and closer. Unless you want to work forever, which some people do, but most of us would like to be able to retire at some point, and you'd be amazed at what kind of growth you can get in a decade. So just get started now. And if you can at least get the full match from your employer's 401k, you know that's free money. So at least try to aim for that as well. The next one on the list is not taking advantage of a Roth IRA or an HSA. Most of us Gen Xers are really heavy on tax deferred accounts such as 401ks. And when we retire, there's going to be a big tax bill come due as soon as we start withdrawing that money from our 401ks. So you get your monthly statement in for your 401k and you see that balance and you think, that's how much I have for retirement. But that's not really the full picture because based on your tax rate when you get into retirement, none of us really know what that's going to be. Let's say you have 100,000 saved in your 401k and your tax rate is 15% once you get into retirement and you start taking those withdrawals. That makes that balance really only worth 85,000. So if you would look into maybe opening a Roth IRA, look into an HSA also if you're eligible for that. There are lots of good articles online that explain all the details of those accounts. They're both, they have tax benefits. The Roth, of course, you put in after tax money. So you'll have a good blend of accounts when you retire and not have to pay taxes on every withdrawal that you make. Okay, next on the list is being too conservative with our investments. And a lot of Gen Xers make this mistake. And just putting your money in a savings account is not going to cut it. And I know we've had some good savings account interest rates these last few years, but they don't even keep up with inflation. And that interest you have to pay taxes on in the very next year that you do your taxes. And we know that those great interest rates are probably going to start falling pretty quickly here soon. So we've got, a decade or so, some of us more, some of us less, before we want to retire. And we need to put our money into the stock market and ride those highs. I know there are lows, but if you just leave it alone, leave it in there, let it do what it's going to do, invest a chunk of your money a little more aggressively than the rest. If you don't want to put it all into the stock market, then just take a chunk of it and take advantage of some of that growth that you need to get in these last years before you retire. Next on the list, and I see this happens to a lot of us Gen Xers, cashing out your 401k early or taking out loans against it. And if there is any way possible to not do those things, especially at this age in our lives, if we can just leave it alone, cashing it out, if you quit your job or whatever, cashing it out early, you'll have the huge tax penalties that are associated with that. You'll also lose out on the growth of the years ahead. And even taking out loans, you'll have to pay those loans back to your 401k, and that cuts into the additional contributions you could be making at this critical time. So, if at all possible, try to leave that alone until you have retired until you've turned at least 59 and a half. Another mistake that Gen Xers make when saving for retirement is bailing out your adult kids. And yeah, it's time for some tough love, and it's a hard time for kids and young adults right now to launch out on their own. I do understand that it's a hard time economically for a lot of people at whatever stage of life we're in. But there are things that your adult kids can do to fix their situation. We're nearing the age where we have really got to start looking at our own situation and who is going to take care of us when we are, in our late 70s or 80s and we don't have enough money. Will your adult kids be able to step in financially and support you at that point? I know it's a tough thing, and I know it's probably not something that your adult kids want to hear, but it is time for tough love, and we've got to get serious in these last few years before retirement to save our own money and take care of our own financial futures. Okay, next on the list, and this is a tough one, getting bad financial advice. And yeah, it's a tough one because who knows they're getting bad advice when they're getting it. A lot of times you don't know that until it's too late. Stick with simple investments, your 401k, mutual funds, Roth IRAs. Steer clear of life insurance or insurance products or annuities. Those kind of things get really complicated and it's really hard to figure them out. So it's best to just stay straight, stay simple with your investments. Get a financial advisor that is a fiduciary, that practices as a fiduciary all the time, not just part of the time. There's a lot of information online. There's some really good financial podcasts out there as well, but you've got to be really careful at this stage in your life when maybe you have built up quite a nest egg, to just stay the course and not get off into the weeds too much with risky products that won't serve you as well. Okay, last on the list, and that's not preparing for taxes in your retirement. And I touched on this earlier. And Gen Xers, we came on the scene working when 401ks really were starting to be the only option that we had for retirement. Pensions were going away. So we had to kind of DIY our own retirement plan. And we've just been putting money in 401ks most of our adult life for years. And as I said earlier, the taxes are going to come due on those withdrawals when you start making them. And when you turn 75 or so, then the government is going to require you to take distributions at that point. They're not going to let you just fade off into the sunset and never take that money out and them not get their taxes. So it is important to consider what those taxes will be in retirement, because I know I've heard stories of people being really surprised, and it puts a hurt on people when they think they had this amount of money and really they have to pay those taxes, so they don't have as much as they thought they did. So I hope this list was helpful to you. I hope I've helped you a little bit today. I really appreciate you watching my video. I would love for you to comment below. Let me know those things, those mistakes that maybe you have encountered in saving for retirement. Tell me your success stories as well, because we'd all love to hear them. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.